they did a great job of pressuring Josh Allen last night. So Josh Allen now has thrown 3 picks in his last 4 games, which is not like him. Now, he needed some help out there too. So playing without Curtis Samuel and Dalton Kincaid, so he kind of looked out of sorts, and he was pressured 47% of the time last night by the Falcons. So we knew the Falcons secondary was really good, but also they were able to get pressure up front, and when you can throw off a guy like Josh Allen, you're doing something right. And that was one of my questions going into this game is, okay, you've disrupted guys like a J.J. McCarthy, for example, or you had some success against Marcus Mariota when he was filling in for Jaden Daniels. But when the reigning MVP comes into your house and you're able to throw him off with your pressure, then you're doing something right. And so we're seeing a Falcons team I think is interesting because they're more of a complete team than I thought. I knew offensively they were going to do some things. They probably have a top 5 unit on the offensive line. They have plenty of playmakers, and now we're starting to see those playmakers start to sort of be the sum of their parts, if you will, and start to perform with Bijan, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, those guys, Michael Penix Jr. now, who is continuing to get better. But if they have a defense, Raheem Morris's defense, to go along with that, Falcons could be a problem.
I think now the question is, can they be consistent? Because remember, there was still a game this year where they lost 30-0 to the Panthers. So that's sometimes what you see from a team with a young quarterback in Michael Penix Jr. But again, it makes things so much easier when your defense is consistent because it just feels like your team's always going to have a chance to win it. Obviously, you know, if you give up 30 points and don't score a single point, those games are not going to be close. But my point being is that this is a Falcons team that looks like that's in good shape. They have a good foundation, and Michael Penix Jr. should only get better down the stretch. But my question for the Bills is that if you can't do it against, you know, the top defenses, like that's where the bar is set for the Bills. It's not set on, hey, what can you do against the Dolphins? What can you do against the Saints? Because it's Super Bowl or bust for the Bills. You know, they are the favorites to win the Super Bowl. I know the odds have lengthened a bit, but it is troubling for the Bills. Like, I don't want to overreact to a 2-game stretch because the NFL is a long season. But, Jenks, do you think it's fair to have questions about the Bills as Super Bowl contenders?
I do, and the one thing that I have overlooked is that if you look at the Bills' schedule when they started 4-0, like hindsight, of course, is 20/20, but they got that incredible win over the Ravens in Week 1, right? Okay. Then they beat the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Saints. So that's how they started 4-0. Last 2 weeks, Patriots, Falcons, 2 losses. So looking back now, when we're starting to see these teams in the NFL start to develop an identity, like we're seeing, hey, the Colts are pretty good. The Ravens are going to be terrible this year. All of a sudden, that Week 1 win over Baltimore, even though they had Lamar Jackson back then, maybe doesn't seem as impressive. So I think for your Buffalo, look, I'm not going to freak out because of a couple of losses. This is still the Super Bowl favorite at BetMGM right now. They're 6-1. The Chiefs are plus 650. Packers are 8-1. They still have Josh Allen, but I think that they rely on Josh Allen to play hero ball a little too much. Didn't help that he didn't have his weapons last night. I think it's the Bills' defense more than anything else, as I talk through this, that I'm worried about the most. The Bills' defense allowed 335 yards last night in 2 quarters. And so as good as the Bills' offense might be, I think we're seeing that if they have an off night, the defense is not going to carry the day, which goes back to the idea that Buffalo is just going to outscore you if they want to win games.
Right. And that was a problem for the Bills, like going into this game. Like going into this game, the Bills gave up 5.6 yards per carry. So that is a trend. Like that is not something that is an anomaly in this game and just saying, hey, Bijan Robinson's really good. No, that's been a problem for the Bills all season long. So it feels like we've seen postseasons pass where Josh Allen has had these Herculean efforts, but like the defense can't stop whoever they are playing. And normally it's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. So like that's something that I feel like is going to be a true problem throughout the season. Because honestly, I do feel like Josh Allen deserves some credit to where you say, okay, the past 2 games were not great, but like look at every quarterback in the NFL. It just feels like nobody dominates game in and game out. And like maybe we saw that from Josh Allen last year. It's just, it is too difficult of a league, and I still feel like Josh Allen is one of the best players in the NFL. So I am not expecting that trend of Josh Allen looking mediocre to continue.
Oh, not at all. And this is, okay, a bit of an off game, maybe off couple of games for him, but he's too good. MVP for a reason. Those guys are going to get healthier. Again, he was without two of his primary weapons last night, lost another one of his receivers later on in the game. I think, again, we're going to hear over the next couple of weeks, because the Bills are on the bye now, and Sean McDermott was saying after the game, yeah, we're going to have to reset. They really have issues on defense. You get a couple guys back on the defensive line, so that should help as well. But that was one of the criticisms of Buffalo during the offseason. Have you done enough to address a leaky defense? That's going to be a big question mark going into the next couple weeks. Next up for the Bills, they have a bye. The Falcons visit the Niners on Sunday Night Football.